Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a realistic treasure chest in Blender 4.2. Now this is going to be quite a fast-paced tutorial, so I'm going to be going at quite a rate. I won't be time-lapsing anything, but mainly the idea here is me showing you how to make the treasure chest here, and then towards the end I'll model this lock really quick. I won't really explain that in great detail. So like I said, this is more of a fast-paced tutorial, but if you already know the basics of Blender, you should be able to follow along quite well. So let's jump into it. And I hope you enjoy this little Blender tutorial I put together. So for a new scene in Blender, let's select all of the default objects. We're going to press delete. And we're going to go Shift A. We're going to add in a mesh object. We're going to add it as a cylinder. And then in our front orthographic view, we're going to just tap to edit mode and go RY90 and hit enter. Let's go over to our modifiers. Add modifier, search and type in mirror. Click on it and then go G, X and move it over to the side. Then enable your clipping, and we want to just select this face in the inside and go X and delete that face. And then in our front view, let's just, with clipping enabled, let's just press A to select everything and go G, X and move these two together till they fuse. We're going to go with something like this. And then in wireframe, let's just select all of these bottom faces going all the way up to the red axis line, so halfway. Then we're going to go X and we're going to delete those faces like so. And I'm also going to just select this face and go X and delete that face. Now let's go to our edge select and just select this edge, and holding and shift select this edge. Go E to extrude and Z and extrude it down like so. And this is going to be sort of the height of our chest. We're going to go F while they're selected to fill them in. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to go select this face, holding and shift select this face or edge. I call them faces, but they're edges. We're going to select this edge and this edge. And we're going to press F, and that's going to add in a face. And then we're going to come over here, Shift Alt and left click on this edge to loop selected. And we're going to go and let's just press F for now to fill that face. So now let's come over here. We're going to go Control R and left click once. I'm going to slide in an edge. And then when we get to about here, we're going to left click again. And this is going to give us our border plate here, the one that kind of wraps around the end. Then we're going to come here in the middle, Control R, see the yellow line, left click twice to add it in. And then with it in the middle, go Control B to create a bevel and give it a thickness about like this. So it's almost the same as this band running around on the end, as you can see. And then we're going to come over here, over this corner, Control R, left click once and slide up an edge to about here. So now we have this gap running over here, which is about the same thickness as this band right here. In fact, with it still active, I'm going to go G, Z and move this one down a little bit to make it thicker. And then I'm going to come here in the middle and go Control R, left click twice to add in an edge. And that'll make sense a little bit more later. But for now, we're going to come over here and go to our face select option. We're going to go into our front orthographic and enable the mirror, or the X-ray here. I don't know why I called it a mirror. And we're just going to left click and drag and select these faces, and holding and shift, left click and drag and select these faces, and go X and delete those faces. So what we have is this. Okay, we have this band running here with the two segments, and then we have these guys over here. And then we're going to come over here, Control R, over this corner, left click once, and just slide in an edge down to here and click. There we go. Then we're going to select this face and holding and shift, let's select the two at the back and go X and delete those faces. There we go. Then let's go to a face select option here. Just make sure that you select all of these faces on the side. And then you're simply going to press I to inset it. And let's go with something like this. I'm going to go X and delete those faces. There we go. Now, if you really wanted to, you could go to your vertex select. Just select this vertex here and holding and shift select the one above it. Press F3 and type merge at last. And you're going to go merge at last. And then you're going to grab these two over here. This one, and then holding and shift the one above it. F3 and type in merge at last again. And then you can have it merging like that. Okay, I'm going to go here and select my face select option and just select all of these bottom faces. I'm going to go X and just delete them. So now we have the structure here, the kind of framework. What I might just do is go to my edge select. And in the front view, I'm going to go Shift Alt and left click on this middle edge that runs in here. I'm going to come to the back, Shift Alt, left click on that edge. And I'm going to press V, and that's just going to cut it. And I'm going to right click to let go. And then I'm going to select this edge over here, holding and shift select this one over here and go F to fill that. And then let's grab this bottom segment, this one here, holding and shift select this edge and press F to fill that. So if we actually clicked on an edge up here and go Control L, we can see this is all a loose piece of mesh. If I go G to move it, you can see it's a separate piece. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. With this now done, I'm going to go to Add Modifier, Search, and type in Solid, and give it a solidify. And I'm going to press A to select everything over here and go Alt N. And I'm just going to recalculate the outside normals just to make sure they're all okay. And I'm going to go to the thickness here and just drag it into the negatives like so until we have a bit of thickness going out like this. Okay, then to make it look a bit better, first of all, I'm just going to save. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to add modifier, search, and type in bevel and give it a bevel. And let's come over here to the bevel amount to make it nice and small, and then just bump up the segments to 3, and then add modifier, search, and type in sub, and give this a subdivision surface. Now, if you get any of this sort of weird stuff happening here with the topology, what you're going to do is just go into wireframe, and let's go to vertex select option. Just select all of these bottom verts like so. So not the top arches, just the bottom ones. And then go Shift E and just give that a bevel weight, dragging it until it all goes pink. So Shift E to do that. And now I should clean that up a little bit. And now I'm just going to tab out. I'm going to right click and go Shade Smooth like that. Okay. If you're still getting a little bit of weird stuff happening here, just go to your bevel and then just mess around with this amount a little bit. Maybe just taking the value up slightly. And with the segments here, I might just bump them up to 4. There we go. And that's looking a lot better. Cool. So now let's make the inside of the chest. First of all, I might just actually in edit mode select everything. G, Z, and just move it up till it's sitting on the floor, and then I'm going to tab back out. And with the subdiv, I might just go over here and turn it off in the viewport for now, just so we don't get as much lag. And now we're going to build the inside barrel. This is simpler than you might think. So let's go Shift A. Let's just add in a circle. Let's go RX90, hit enter. And let's go RY90 and press enter. We've rotated it 90 degrees on the Y. And we're going to go G and move it in over here to the side. And in our right orthographic, we're going to go S and we're going to scale it a bit. And we're going to place it so it's sitting kind of right in here like that in the end. And then we're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to go E to extrude and X and extrude it kind of to the middle, like so. There we go. And in our front view, let's just go and wireframe and just select the bottom half faces, just so we have this thing over here. And what we're going to do is with it all active, we can scale it a little bit till it just kind of fits in here, just like that. And I'm going to just go Shift Alt left click and select this edge and just kind of scale it to make it a bit bigger, or I might just move it up. So I'm going to go G, Z, and just kind of move it up like that. So now that we have that in place, let's just go add modifier, search, and give it a mirror. And at the moment, it should be doing it on the X. So let's just go over to object mode, Control A with this apply, selected, and let's just apply the rotation. And in our front orthographic, let's just tab into edit mode and just grab all of it and go G, X, and move it over, just so the origin point is more in the middle here. And then in object mode, let's just move the whole thing till it's kind of sitting in the middle. And then back in edit mode, we can kind of enable clipping and just kind of like fuse these two together like so. Okay, now that's looking good. Now we have it mirrored. So now let's go to our edge select option. And let's just also enable the Y mirror here. And I might just select in the top view, these half of the faces. And I'm going to go X and just delete those faces. Now it's mirroring on the Y as well. So all we're working with are these faces. Then I'm going to go to my edge select. I'm going to select this edge, and holding in Shift, I'm going to skip an edge and select this one and this one. So we have these 3 edges selected. Then I'm going to go Control B and just create a small bevel and left click. And I'm going to go X and delete those faces. Then I'm going to press A to select all of this. And I'm going to go E to extrude. And I'm actually going to extrude in to the inside like this to give it some thickness, as you can see. There we go. I'm going to press A to select everything and go Alt N and just recalculate the outside normals. There we go. And then I'm going to go add, and I'm going to add a modifier, and I'm going to call, touch type in bevel, give it a bevel. And let's give this a small amount. and then bump up the segments and tab back out. I'm going to right click and go shade smooth. And now we have that. And then let's go and create the ones down here. We should actually be able to just grab this one that already exists and just go over here and just select one of these edges. Shift D to duplicate and just bring it down. SZ0 just to flatten it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go E to extrude and extrude it down. And then Shift D to duplicate and Z to bring it down a little bit. And then E to extrude and Z to bring it down. And then with both of these selected, like so, you're going to go E to extrude and just extrude it on the Y and extrude it in so it has some thickness. Tab back out. And that should have the same modifiers as the ones at the top. Also, just make sure that in edit mode, you press select everything, go Alt N, just recalculate those outside normals to make sure that's all working okay. So now we have that done. And because we duplicated that, it should also be mirrored at the back. So if you go to the mirror modifier here, you can see with the Y, we can turn it on here as well. Pretty cool. Okay, and now with the side panels here, let's just keep that as simple as possible. I guess I'll just hide the frame for now by selecting it and pressing H. I'm going to grab the wood panels. I'm just going to grab this one and this edge here, these two edges. Shift D to duplicate, and then with them both active, I'm going to go E to extrude and Y till these two fuse. Then I'm going to select these two edges. Shift D to duplicate, right click, and then go E to extrude and Y. Snap them together, and I'm going to do the same with these two. Shift D, right click, E to extrude and Y. And then these two here, I'm going to do the exact same thing. There we go. And with these guys here, I'm just going to take all of them, select them, and go E to extrude and extrude them in to give them a bit of thickness. And then I'll grab this edge, holding Shift, select this edge, Shift D to duplicate, E to extrude and Y, snap them together. Make sure they're both selected and then go E to extrude and X and extrude it in. So now let's tab back out and let's go Alt H to bring back the outer part of our chest. And now let's just go Shift A, let's add in a plane. Let's go S to scale it. In our front view, let's go Shift A and add in a camera. Let's go into our right orthographic view and move it over here and rotate it down. And then let's press 0 to go into camera view, and I'm going to move the camera back. And for me, I might just go and rotate my camera from the side a little bit. Then I'm going to go Shift A, I'm going to add in an area light and move it up. And I'll go to my render properties and change it to cycles. And under my max samples, I'm going to set it to 55. Now if we go Z and we go rendered, we can see this. I'm going to select my light. Under my light properties, I'm going to give it a strength of 300. And I'm going to increase the size. Then I'm going to go Shift D to duplicate. I'm going to just rotate my light, have one kind of coming from the side. Shift D, I'm going to rotate another one, have it coming from here. Just so we have some nice lighting in the scene. And now I'm just going to grab the metal frame. I'm going to go to my material properties and click new and call it frame. And for now, under the base color, I'm just going to make it darker in value. And I'm going to drag up to metallic. And I'm going to drag down the roughness a bit. We'll work on it more later. What we're also going to do is we're going to go over to the internet. And we're going to type in polyhaven.com. And we're going to click on the textures over here. We're going to come here to search and type in wood. And there's all sorts of these planks that you can choose from. I'm going to go with this wood cabinet worn over here. And then I'm going to come here just with the default options here for 2K and Blender. I'm going to click download. Now that it's downloaded, I'm going to go over to my downloads folder. I'm going to right click on it and extract it. And now we have this file here. So we can go now into Blender. I'm going to go to file. I'm going to go to append. And in my case, that's my downloads. Here's to extracted zip. I'm going to click on it. Then I'm going to click on a blend file, then on the materials, and then click on the wooden material. I'm going to go ahead and append it. Then I can select the wooden planks. I can go to the material properties, come to the drop down and give it that wood cabinet material. And now I'm going to go to my UV editing. In here, I'm going to press A to select all of these planks. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to press U and we're going to go Q projection. Then we're going to press Z and go material preview. And then over here, I'll grab all of these and I'll just rotate them like so until they match up the kind of direction of the wood grain, like that. And then let's go back over to our layout. And now let's go into our camera view. Let's go Z and let's go to the rendered view. And already we can see that's looking quite good. But the metal here looks way too good, or way too shiny. So we're going to select it. We're going to go into our shading workspace. And we're going to come here to this principled, and we're going to go Shift A, search, and go noise, and get the noise texture. Let's plug the color into the normal. Shift A, search, and let's type in bump, and get a bump, and put it on here. This should be going into the height. There we go. Then I'm going to move this noise up. I'm going to go Shift A, search, and type in ramp. I'm going to click on color ramp and place it between these two cables, so the noise and the bump. Then I'm going to come to the strength and make it 0.1. And then we're going to come over here to the detail and make it 10. And we're going to come to the roughness and make it 1. And already you can see this is looking a lot better. But if you want to make it look even better than that, you can duplicate this color ramp, plug the color into here, and then take the color output and plug it into the base color of the principled. And then drag this black value slider up, drag this white value down, and then make that value kind of darker, like so. And now we really kind of have that grunge looking kind of material. And now that we have these materials looking a lot better, let's go back to our layout. And now we can do some extra embellishing. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go Shift A. I'm just going to add in a UV sphere. And I'm going to rotate it and I'm going to go S to scale it. And I'll just place this guy over here somewhere, and then in the right view, I'll move it forward and kind of flatten it on the Y, just like this. So it kind of looks like a rivet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just go G, move it, right click and go shade smooth. I'm going to come to the materials and give it that metal frame material, like this. Then I'm going to go Shift D to duplicate it and bring one down. Then I'll duplicate both of these and move them over. And then I'll select all 4 of them and go Shift D Y and move them to the back. So we got some here at the back as well. And then I'll select these 2 over here, and in the right orthographic view, I'm going to go Shift D to duplicate and just rotate them and move them up. I'll do the same thing over here. And the same thing over here. There we go, it's looking pretty good. And now that that's working, I'll just keep duplicating it and rotating it. Shift D to duplicate, move one over here. Shift D to duplicate, move it over here. R to rotate, and then I'll just come down here. There we go. Looking pretty good. And then if you want to, you can just select all of these running along here. In fact, I might just hide everything else by selecting it and pressing H. And then I'm just going to select these guys, all of them here, like so. And then I'll go Shift D to duplicate them, X to move them over, like to here, and then we go Alt H to bring everything back. Then I'll just grab these guys and go G, X, and move them in over here, like that. And where I need to, I can make some small adjustments. In fact, I could just hide the chest again, and I'll just hide the lights, and I'll delete half of these, and then just grab these ones on the side, join them all together by going Alt J, and then I'll go to my modifiers and give them a mirror, and then I'll go Alt H to bring everything back. And then with that mirror for these rivets, I'll select our box here as a reference, and now it's mirroring on both sides like that. Pretty cool. So now if we go to our camera view and we go Z and go rendered, we can see we have this, and that's looking pretty cool. Maybe just one more thing I'll quickly add. I'll just add in a cube and scale it, move it to the front and flatten it like this. There we go. And I'll go into edit mode and just give it a bevel like that. And then I'll go Shift A and just add in a torus. And this is an optional bit you can add in, but this is just what I'm going to do. I'm just going to scale that down, kind of put it in here. And I'm just making like a simple lock. like this. There we go. And I'll join these two together, and I'll give them that same metal frame material. And then I'll just add in a plane, and in the side I'll rotate that and just kind of make a very simple looking kind of latch like this, scaling it up, maybe down a little bit. There we go. And then I might just grab this bit that I've made on the lock, and I'll duplicate that and rotate it. And in the side view, I'll kind of rotate it off like so. There we go, that's looking good. And I'll just move these end bits in. And then I'll just kind of grab this latch plate here, and in the side view, I'll move it and extrude it. And I'll duplicate and extrude it up like so. And then I'm going to press A to select all of it, E to extrude, right click and go Alt S and extrude out just to give it some thickness. Tab back out, and I'll give that same frame material. So just a very simple sort of latch, and that's just an optional thing you guys can add yourself. And I might just bring this down so it looks like it's hanging more. There we go. But that is a simple kind of treasure chest. So I'm going to go to my camera view. I'm going to go Z, and I'm going to go rendered. And that's looking pretty good. I might just go now and grab my camera, go to my camera settings, give it depth of field, click on the eyedropper and select the chest. And then under the f-stop, I'm going to make it 0.5. I'm going to go to my camera settings and give it a focal length of 150. And I'll kind of zoom the camera back out again, like this. There we go. And might take the focal length up to maybe 0.9. There we go. And then I'll grab the floor here, and I'll just go and give that a new material and make the base color darker. Pretty cool. And now with that done, I might just duplicate one more light and have it kind of coming from the front. There we go. And I'm now going to go render and render image. And there we have the final render. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. And like I said in the beginning, this is not an absolute beginner's tutorial. This one is more a little bit fast paced. Me just kind of showing you the process of making a treasure chest in Blender. So I will be uploading this final result to my Patreon. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time for another tutorial.